Israel, first and foremost, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekakwadash, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops, a great millstone, Shalom to the whole elect, beginning with 144,000, Shalom. In this lesson, we're going off of this article from End Time Headlines, right? And it reads, experts warn of food rationing, panic buying, planes grounded, and an economic chaos far worse than COVID, right? And as y'all can see, right, this going into prophecy, right? Famines, pestilence, plagues, uproars of the people, wars, rumors of wars, etc., right? You name it. And that's how we're able to measure the time due to prophecies, right? To know that we're at the end, right? We're near the end. And the Lord pouring His Spirit upon the flesh of the people to let the people know that we're near the end, right? Even the people are starting to see the signs now with the wars, with the famines, right? With everything that's going on with the crash, with the dollar crashing, and etc., right? So now people are starting to see that something big is soon to happen, right? It's soon to come. And that's why I made title this lesson, right? Something big is soon to come, right? Not a big in a good way to America, but in a bad way, right? But it's a good way to us because why we know that these things must come to pass for us to be delivered, right, out of this wicked ass kingdom. So let's get into the article, right? It say fears are mounting that the world is heading for an economic blow far worse than the COVID pandemic within weeks as the Iran conflict threatens global oil and gas supplies, right? So as y'all can see, man, Iran, right, or let me reword it, right? This war between Iran, America, and Israel is not only affecting us, right, with the gas prices, the grocery prices, inflation on the houses and etc., right? But it's also affecting the whole global, right, economically, right? It says experts warn it could trigger food shortages, grounded flights, and panic buying as countries risk running out of fuel and energy if shipping routes remain shut, right? Because without that fuel, right, how's you going to continue to, you know, have the resources to continue to have the energy and things of that such running, right? Because a lot of these, majority of these buildings, places, these plants, these nuclear stations, right, as in the Duke Energies and, etc., right? A lot of these need these oil and, these fuels to continue on giving out energy into the, into, the economy, right? It says, analysts say the crisis is no longer just about rising prices, but the risk of a full-blown supply crunch with some countries unable to secure enough energy to meet demand, right? And that's what I wanted to say earlier, right? With this pandemic, I said it's going to be a blow far worse than the COVID pandemic, right? This could lead up to, that second pandemic, right? That second shutdown, that second lockdown, right? Ultimately, that could lead to what? The MOTB, because why they saying people panic buying, food rationing, people going in here buying all these things, and they insert that chip inside you. Now you have a limit on how much meat you can buy, how much toilet tissue you can buy, right? How much of these things you can buy, right? And now, because you're not gonna be able to buy nothing without the MOTB, but now then when you get it, they go tell you or it's going to be in control, so like of what you can buy and can't buy, right? And how much of it that you can get, right? To save some for others or whatever the case may be, right? Just speaking as a man, this is what the second pandemic can lead up to, right? So let's continue on, right? It says that could trigger a domino effect across the global economy. So like you say, hitting everything from air travel to food production, right? The Strait of Hormuz, a vital artery, Salaki, if I'm not pronouncing these words right, they said for global energy remains at the center of the crisis, with around a fifth of the world's oil and gas Salaki. It's saying gas passing through the narrow waterway each day, right? And, I don't know if y'all seen it, but like a week or two, The Iran leader, he's saying like they opened the prices up all the way up on oil. Or I think it was like $300 a barrel or something like that, right? They stopping the you know, what is it? Basically like the passageway to get things, in and out, right? For trading and things of that such, right? So now, not only America, right, or, the allies are, struggling with these things. Now it's affecting the whole global, right? The whole globe, right? Because right now other nations and other allies can get their resources. Why? Because of what's going on in this conflict between Iran, America, and Israel, right? So it says Bank of America has warned European gas prices could surge from around 39 European cash revenue, how you want to put it, to as high as 500 European, I say cash. It said this winter, if the strait stays shut for an extended period, far exceeding levels seen after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, such a spike would trigger what analysts describe as a full-blown economic emergency across Europe, the UK, and large parts of Asia, with energy costs spiraling and industries forced to cut back. The Telegraph reports the situation has deteriorated. So like if I pronounce that wrong, right? Deteriorated. I don't know. It said repeatedly after strikes hit major energy infrastructure in Iran and Qatar, including facilities responsible for a huge share of global gas supplies, with destruction expected to last months or even years as repairs are carried out, right? And gas, right? These oils, it's a big thing, right? That's why it costs so much, right? That's why it's so important because why these was running the machines, running the businesses and things of that such, right? And in some, states, some cities, gas go up to, over $10 a gallon, right? $15, right? Some may be $20, right? And now I'm seeing people on internet things that says that they should have got a Tesla, and now it's time to get a Tesla, right? Cause even myself, right, I use 93 and damn gas $4.54, man, right? And that's just from where I'm from, right? So just imagine Cali, damn these big, cities, states, things that says, man, gas probably sky fucking rocket. Down there almost $10 over there, man. So hey, this war is not only affecting, us over here, but it's also affecting, the world, economically, right? So we'll grab a couple scriptures then, that'll be it, right? So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and let's start at verse 6, right? And it reads, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? And these wars, these rumors of wars, right? You can go all the way up to what World War One, right? When they had a lot of these wars mentioned after World War One, like World War One, like the Cold War, right, and etc. Many more wars, right? But now, speaking in the terms of as of right now, right, we're seeing the war that's going on with Ukraine, Russia, Iran, America, Israel, and right, these are the conflicts that's leading up to what that last that last World War, right, which is what World War III. That'll be the war to end our wars, right? So it says, and ye shall hear wars. Salakia. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, right? And that's what we see that's soon to happen, right? These is the famines, right? Food shortages, right? Food shortages, water shortages, right? Animal shortages, and that's when they're gonna be trying to produce these lab grown meat, these lab grown food, and trying to push it out into the grocery markets and things of that such. And not only that, it's going to be a famine, with the little, resources that they going to have left, the price is going to be skyrocket high, on these damn, groceries, right? Gas supplies and things of that such, you know. So, the uproars of the people and things of that such, uh, it's riots going on, man. It's a lot of chaos going on around the earth, right? But you just gotta continue to, keep up and stay on your watchtower, man. Cause like the Apostle Hart say, hey, dang, what he be telling, like, you miss you miss a day, you miss a lot, or you miss an hour, you miss something like that in that term. Brothers that watch, Elder Pastor Hari, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16. And we'll start at verse 14, right? And it reads, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. So like you, let me grab a swig of water. So like you, all right. I don't know what's going on, man. Damn allergies, pollen and things of that such. So the 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 16, it reads like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. And people have to understand, man, this is only the beginning, right? Nothing has got terrible yet, man. Nothing has got worse yet, man. Like, people are literally going to be dying of starvation, right? And it's going to get there. People are literally going to be dying of starvation, right? People are going to be dying from the sword. People are going to be dying from these plagues, right? These diseases, man, I'm telling you, this is on the beginning, man. People haven't seen nothing yet, right? Verse 17 say, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, right? We're seeing these things. He said the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come, right? We witnessing this beginning of these great sorrows, the great mournings, the famines, the great deaths, the beginning of wars, right? The powers, stand in fear, right? In the beginning of evil, right? So we seeing all these things eye to eye. And people still have the nerve to tell you that the Bible is fake, that the Bible is not true. It was used to enslave us. Right? I mean, y'all are fucking idiots. That's how you know y'all don't have the understanding, because it's clear as day. It's plain to the holy, but stumbling about to the wicked. It's clear as day what's going on around the earth. You just gotta look, you gotta, imply the scriptures into the real life situation that's going on now. You can't sit here and tell us that we're not saying the correct things, man, because it's clear as day. It's clear as day, literally, man. But then when it come to pass, then y'all go realize, man, Ezekiel 33 and 33, right? Verse 19 say, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So even when these, even the times that we're living in now, people are still not thinking about repenting, right? People still thinking about the ways to survive, right? What they need to do, right? During these times. Why not repent? The only person that's going to be able to save you and deliver you out of these things is Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua. That gun not going to save you. That money not going to save you. None of those things are going to save you. Because soon the dollar's finna crash. So what you going to do when the dollar crash and they, make the MOTB, the RFID chip mandatory, right? In other words, the corrupt. What you going to do then? Majority of the world is going to take it to why that's going to be their only option. That's going to be their only resort. Because they're going to feel like they have to provide. They're going to feel like there's no other way, right? But their only way is Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. You're going to be destroyed because why? You put your faith in Esau's system rather than Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? So once again, do not take the RFID chip because that's soon to come, right? This dollar crashing, right? These other nations talking about doing away with the U.S. dollar, right, and etc. Right. So so hey, be prepared for when this MOTB be made mandated, right? So let's continue on verse 20. It said, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourge. It said, behold, victuals shall be sold good cheap upon earth, that they shall think to themselves to be in a good case, right? I just seen a post, right? It was on one of the news channels, right? And I could be wrong, but it's saying that Trump was signing a Jones Act or something like that to keep the gas prices from not going up so high, right? They were like, he the first president that did it since so and so, right? I can't even remember, right? But I think it was like something Jones Act or something like that. But basically to prevent the gas prices from going skyrocketing high, right, during the midst of war, right? So people will think, well, they in a good case, right? They saying the groceries, stand at when they saying the groceries stand at a decent price range, right? If not go cheaper, still getting money, right? Things of that such. They would think to themselves to be in a good case, right? But they say even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion, right? So the Lord even telling you, like, hey, even when people think to themselves to be in a good case, hey, the evils, even then the evil still going to grow, right? The sword is going to continue to increase, right? The famine is going to continue to increase, right? Great confusion going to continue to increase. What else? The plagues, right? And wickedness, right? So all these things are still going to increase, right? From the top, the whole victual shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case, right? You'll think that, but in reality, you not that, right? Even when you receive the RFID chip, you gonna think to yourself, you gonna be in a good case. Okay, man, I can finally go to the grocery store. I can finally provide for my kids, right? Even then, you're fucked, right? Even then, you out of luck, right? Because the Lord said in Isaiah 65 that, wow, let's grab it real quick. 65 verse 13, right? It reads, therefore, this saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed, right? Right? So even if you do receive the RFID chip, you're still going to be hit with the famine, right? With the plagues, right? With the pestilence. But the Lord's servants, the true prophets, right? The true men of the Lord, they're not going to be hit with these things. The Lord's going to take care of his prophets, right? During the times of trouble, during these evil times that we're in, right? These perilous times, right? So even if you do take the MOTB, right, or have some type of resources that for a season or whatever the case may be, like say for instance a farm, right? It's people out here with bunkers. You think that shit gonna last? No, the Lord is going to end up can have something end up happening to you, and next thing you know, an elect member can run across your bunker, right, and stay there until, but I just think of it, man, speaking of it, man, right, not saying that it can happen, but I mean, that's saying that's what's going to happen, but that's it can possibly happen, right, just like that movie, that was on Netflix, what it's called, dang, y'all know what I'm talking about, Leave the World Behind or something like that. And at the end of the movie, that the little girl went in that house and ran a bunker in that house. When she was down there watching TV, they had the water, food, all that. And that's how it can happen with the elect, right? You done did all this years of preparation, right? Whole time you done got caught out in the midst of everything, and now you're not even able to get in your bunker. But then an elect member that came across, right, your bunker and got your resources, right? But the Lord's going to be able to provide like that, right? Through our enemies, through animals, right? Even through spiritual powers, right? Spiritual gifts, So let's go back to Second Edges, uh, Yeah, and I finish out at verse 22, right? And it reads, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." Right, and that's crazy, 'cause I just said, like, you done prepared all this to your bunker, right? Or your cabinets, your kitchen, whatever the case may be, right? You done started up on canned goods, but the whole time, you done got caught in the midst of the city, and now you're not even able to get to your house. Right, so like I say, man, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish for famine. He's saying the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So either way you're going to be destroyed. Either way you're going to be killed. Right, you can't run from the destruction. It's like you can't run from the destruction of Yahweh Bahashim outside. You can't escape it. Right. I'll finish it out with this book of Amos. Let's see what it said. And a serpent hand. Let's type in hand one. Should have been Amos, if I'm mistaken. I thought it was Amos. Oh, yeah, kind of. So it was Amos. Amos 5 and 19, right? Verse 18, right? And it reads, "One to you that desire the day of the Lord Yahweh, to what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and is not light." Right? If a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him, showing you what? That you cannot escape from the Lord's judgment. You can't escape the day of the Lord, right? That day is coming quick, too, and we can tell by prophecy, right? We're measuring the times to see that we're at the end, to see that your house shall return is right around the corner, right? We want these things to happen, upwards of the people, the wars, right? The famines, the plagues, because we know that the Lord is going to take care of us during these times, but ultimately we know that that's the end of Esau rulership, right? But I didn't want to make this too long. I got two other lessons I have to do. So that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua. Until next time, Shalom.